Surprise! Hello. So there was something that I wanted to share. If you're just tuning in, there might be like an advertisement, so I will wait. At least it's being recorded, so there's that. Oh gosh, all these pens, trying to get things in order. Really think I need these? I am slumming it today. I'm in my pajamas. I don't even care. I usually don't stream on Fridays. But there was something very important that I wanted to share. Oh, here's that other thing I was looking for. Ha ha ha. Oh, good. I didn't lose all those pieces. I was afraid that I did. So, this is the skirt. I wanted to go over how this is put together. One of these days I'll be home when you're streaming and actually be able to watch it. Oh, Nemo. There is the Twitch app. You can watch it on Twitch app. Anyway, so there's this thing that happens because you have two pieces. These are the backs. This is the front. And how to put on the facing and turn it inside out, because with this sort of thing you have to turn it inside out to finish the neckline here this way, and also the armholes, so that all of it gets bagged out at the same time. This is the most interesting part about putting together a bodice that has a facing like this. And with this I put in the facing and a lining, so it's nice and curvy. It was fun to try to put that together, but anyway, the trick is to not have the side seams finished. You don't close the side seams when you need to bag it out, because all of this needs to be done. And the way that that's done, oh, also I have to fix my little mistake. I don't know how this happened, but it's, I guess, easily rectifiable, in that the shoulder here, this is the correct width of the shoulder. This, for some reason, is 1 centimeter exactly longer than it needs to be, or wider, I should say. So I need to kind of reshape this so that it fits in here. So I'm just starting at the neckline. I'm going to reshape this real quick. So let me take my pencil. And it's not too problematic. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I suppose I could just do this like this. I guess I do need this. Hello, Melon. Hello, Minty. I wanted to show this to you guys. I don't know if you've done this. Maybe you have. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's magical every time I do it, so I wanted to catch it on video. So I just want to kind of trim this a little bit so that this is matching the armhole on the other side, and also the shoulder. Oh, please, no. Some scam calling me on my phone. I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy? Alright, so now I reshaped this so that the shoulders should match now. Yeah, perfect. Alright, I'm going to put this together, but only on the shoulders. And then you'll see what I'm talking about, maybe. The front and back armhole are the same. No, they're not. The bottom scoop of the armhole is slightly higher on the front as opposed to the back. The only thing I reshaped was just the very top of the shoulder, because when I drafted the pattern, for some reason, it ended up making the back shoulder 1 centimeter wider than the front shoulder, and those should be the same width because they need to match up. I checked on the pattern sheet itself because this pattern for the Gretel dress is on the pattern sheet, but I decided to draft it from scratch myself anyway. And they match, but when I drafted it, for some reason, it kind of elongated the shoulder for some reason. And still trying to figure out what I did. I may have like spaced it and made when I was drafting the pattern straight across, that the measurement that I took for that point to the end of the shoulder, and then you move it down by 1.5 centimeters, or is it 2.5? I may have taken the large size number in the cluster of 3 that you see there, because I'm so used to doing the large size, so I just like automatically gravitate toward the bottom number in that 3 cluster. I may have done that. I don't remember doing that. I thought I was being pretty good about keeping it to the medium size, but in any case, all I did was reshape it so that it matched my front, which is the correct measurement, and I checked that against the paper pattern. So I'm going to put these together on the shoulder, add 1 centimeter seam allowance, okay, like that on one side. Doop. That's my snippy snips. I'm really slimming it today. Like, look at my, I don't even care what I look like. Okay, so this is one shoulder done. I'm going to do the other one now. The other one here. And then we're going to put together the facings with the linings attached. And you might notice that I attached the linings but not the skirt. I put that on after, because it's, you know, you'll see what I mean. It's just easier to do this before doing the skirt lining part. Okay, 1 centimeter. I just finished watching a show called Carnival Row with Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne, and it's I didn't really care for it at first, but it grew on me, and then I ended up binging it. So that's kind of what I was doing before I decided to do this just right now. You saw that show? Oh my god, right? It's I had a huge crush on Orlando Bloom back in the day, about 17 years ago, when I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, of all things. Oh, you know, I'm gonna... This thing is just torn to shit. I need to fix this. I really need to just replace the paper on here. I'm always leaning over it, so it wore away. Don't break on me. Come on, masking tape. Yeah, I was, It looks interesting. I think I got a bit bored. Didn't watch everything. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it took a while for it to grow on me. Like, I watched the first episode and I'm like, nah, okay. Orlando Bloom is in a new thing. Good for him. He's working. And I didn't really care for Cara Delevingne, whatever, before. She's not that great of an actress, or at least she wasn't before. So, you know, I gave it a shot. Watched the second episode. It was okay, and then by the third episode, I'm like, all right, I'll just keep watching the whole thing. I want to see where this is going. And then I just finished it today. One way or another, I am going to tape my table here. Alright, well, it's kind of fixed. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, I went to see it when it was still in the theater. I was in my very early 20s. Orlando Bloom is not that much older than I am. That'll give you an idea. See, how much older is he? I think he's like 5 years older than me. So at the time, it was like the perfect age to gawk over a young man who is just so handsome. So I watched Pirates of the Caribbean 7 times in the theater. It was very funny. I was into Lord of the Rings too, and he was really cool as Legolas, but when I saw like what his real face looked like, I was all about the dark hair and the dark eyes. My boyfriend, I don't know if you've seen him walking through the door a couple times, but he looks, you know, he's like dark and handsome. So I guess I'm into that sort of thing. Anyway, so okay, here we go. We have just the shoulders, the 2 back pieces, front piece here. I remember what I did earlier with, I made sure that this was pressed going towards the side seams, snipped it at an angle here so that this can remain pressed going that way, and then the rest of the seam allowance for the top part of this neckline, because the neckline is kind of funny in that the side piece is actually part of the neckline, so we made sure that this seam allowance is open. So we're going to go down here and follow this. I need to do the same thing with the lining facing combination. So, see, and I have to reshape this too. So I'm matching this to the inside of the neck, making sure it's all straight, and I'm just going to mark this little part I'm snipping off. Okay, and I might have to use my other thing. Let's see, that was the same. Freaking ads, it stopped at 2 seconds and didn't load the stream. Oh no, had to refresh and watch another one. Oh darn. You're back now though, right? Is everything fine? Did you work it out? If you need me to re-explain something, just let me know. I don't know why I marked it if I just snipped it like that. Well, that's me, I guess. Okay, we're gonna do this. Make sure that this is straight on the shoulder, and I'm just gonna snip this off. Not too bad. Right, okay. Everything is fine now. Okay, awesome. Okie dokie. I didn't even turn that off. Go me. Okay. So, here we have back neckline, front neckline. We're matching this to the shoulders. Trying to get through this quickly. Like I said, I usually don't stream on Fridays because it's like my day to do the other stuff, but there is some expediency that needs to be done for this particular client. She was waiting very patiently. It wasn't even until just recently I even sent her invoice so that I could get started on doing this. And once that payment goes through, I try not to take too long. Try not to take too long to complete the order. Usually my turnaround is something like 20 days, so like 3 weeks, unless they don't have a deadline. And sometimes if the piece is complicated, like the cat bug that I did, the client might be very patient and I can take my time with it. Like this cat bug thing that I did, she ordered it in April and I only just sent it out. There were other upheavals in life though that prevented me from being timely, but you know, sometimes that happens where they don't have like a pressing need for it and I'll just take my time. But this, like once she paid for it, I was just like, okay, I gotta get on this, and I have another client right after her who has a deadline of mid-November, so as soon as that fabric comes in, I'd like for this to be done. So that's why I'm just trying to get it all out of the way now. Alright, so I need to iron this again so that I open up these seams, and then we're going to sew the neckline and the armholes before we close the side seams. They do illustrate this in the Otomino sewing book, but it's probably just so much easier to see it being done. So I'm going to show you that right now. Let's see. Oh, did I miss anything? Do you guys have any plans for Halloween, or do you have any Halloween plans? Minty says I have a small birthday party that will also be a Halloween party on the 29th, but just that. And what are your plans? Trick-or-treating with my family, says Melon. I have a Halloween dress that I made last year that I'll probably end up wearing again. I'm pretty proud of it, but usually I don't actually care for Halloween. I think the magic has sort of been sucked out of it for me just because I make so many costumes and people just assume that because I make costumes, I must really love Halloween. I'm sure some people are like that, but not me. Yeah, I get like overloaded with costume making and everything. It's like I do not want to have to pressure myself into making a costume. I've done that and I don't like it. Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna match here. Make sure that this is all lined up. So I am going to use pins just because I'd like for this to be right. Now, one thing I'd like to note too is since this is the back bodice, there is going to be a zipper that goes in here. So I am not going to sew all the way to the end. I'm going to leave just this much open between the facing and the shell so that I can insert the zipper and then turn it around. So that right here is about where I'm going to start my seam. They do match up now. I'm going to match up the shoulder. Oh, my nose, why? My nose is itchy. The shoulder seam is going to match here, so I'm going to put a pin right here. If I can, just do it on the edge, and then I want to match right here, and because this is such a sharp corner, we're going to clip that. Once I sew it, it's going to be clipped on the diagonals so that I can turn it out. Oh my gosh, I have the windows open. Okay, here, and then we're going to match it over here if we can. Right there. So I'll match these shoulders first. What's going on? Hey! Oh my gosh! It's Groovy Blue Hue! Hello! Now my nose is itchy! Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, we get allergy seasons twice a year, and right now it's allergies for fall. Great. I never had allergies before, but man, I sneeze up a storm when the chamisa is in full bloom. I don't know if you guys have chamisa, or otherwise called rabbit bush. I think Colorado calls it rabbit bush. We call it chamisa because we have the Spanish name for it. Okay. And then, let's see if we might have to pull this in a little. Let me see if I can find. Alright, so I need to not pull this too much. Since this is pulling because it has the pin tucks in there, so long as I give it some generous ease into those pin tucks, I will be able to fit this whole seam into the straight side of the facing. At least that is in theory. Phew! Okay, so we're going to do the neckline first, and then we're going to go back and we're going to do also these armholes. So this whole armhole is going to get finished. And then when we bag it out, because we don't have the side seams closed, we have the ability of pulling it inside out from in here through this tube that happens with the shoulder, and then both pieces get inside out going this way, and then you have a completed finished seam bodice, and then you close the side seams. My goodness, I did not expect you. That is awesome. Sure, I don't have any of the plants in Arizona. I never heard of it in California. No, California doesn't have the rabbit bush or chamisa. It's mostly just a southwest desert thing, as far as I know. But I know Colorado has it. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Look at you! Groovy Blue Hue, you are hosting me. Thank you so much, my friend. I wish I lived closer to learn with you. Well, one way to do it is to watch the streams if you really want to learn how to sew. I do this stuff all the time. I try to impart some little tips here and there. Alright, let's get this started. See, remember, I'm not starting. This is where the zipper is going to go, so I want to leave this open when we turn that out. So I'm starting like 2 centimeters in, I want to say. Let me get this lined up. Always back tack, you know that. Okay. Ugh. Really? Right here? Okay. Just gonna let this hang. Do I have a chair? Oh good, my cat does not usurp my chair today. How nice. I love when you teach. Aw, thank you. I love to do it. Sometimes I just sit here and work and chat, but most of the time I'm just doing my thing. And I talk out loud, so some people get stuff out of it even better. Okay. This one lined up. Okay. Make sure that this is doing the thing. Julie, do the thing. Make sure this is going this way. Yeah. All right. This corner is going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, tricky to make sure that my seam is lined up correctly here. So then we go in about here, I think. Let me see if I hit it correctly. One more stitch and we'll be right on target. I'll just turn the wheel to get that one more stitch, and I think that will line us up exactly where we need to be. Okay. Okay, this little pulling that's happening now, I'm going to try to make sure that it's not stressed so that it lays somewhat flat. Those pin tucks underneath, man. Okay. Not. Did I not do that? Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can do this. Oh boy. turn out. Yep. One more stitch. There we go. Okay. Hopefully, I wasn't very careful, but we'll see how those pin tucks turned out when I go back over, turn it out real quick just to check. Oh, we're good. Woo! Could have been bad. Could have been bad. My needle is fine! Okay, and right there. Great. Let's see. I am worried about those pin tucks though. Oh, you're so sweet. Groovy! I don't know if I should say your name, so I'm just calling you Groovy. Say my name, say my name. Nobody. Let's see, I was thinking of scanning the MOOC I have and share it on the Discord since I think nobody has it. Which MOOC is that? I hate that word because that means something completely different to me. MOOC. Your MOOC. I love the fabric you're using. Yes, this is a fabric that my client got on Spoonflower. Her friend designed it and came to me asking if I could make her an outfit out of it. Let's see. Saw it back on sale on eBay. Oh, you're so proud of me. Thank you. Your designs get better and better each year. You always inspire me. You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm sorry, I keep rubbing my nose. I can't help it. Ah. You can say my name anytime. It's never a problem since I use it with everything. Okay, Ariel. Thank you. It's better than saying Groovy. I mean, Groovy's like more of a Groovy instead of a name. So, and Ariel's such a cute name, so why would I not use it? Now, let's see. Oy, how these pin tucks came out. Ah! Not bad. There's a little tuck in here though. Not sure I like that. Got a little tucked. If I tuck it in like this though, maybe I can hide it. No, I don't want to do that though. I might have to just go over that again. Ah, you get the idea. So, there's a little bit of a tuck. It is a pretty name. I've heard of Spoonflower before. Yeah, you can get custom printed fabric. It's digital print fabric. And they have different fabrics you can get done. Okay, so I think I have a solution. I'm going to undo it about to where this pin tuck is and just move the fabric over against the tuck. So it should be hidden. Let's see, it should be hidden just in here. Right. So, move that over a little bit and straighten that out. That way, oh my nose, it'll just look like part of the pin tuck. So it shouldn't be too problematic and it'll be nice and straight. Yeah. Alright. Let's try this now. I don't have music playing, I just realized. I even turned on my little speaker. got that. Let's see if I did this right now. So I got that tuck out of there. Oh, gotta work fast! Fun fact, my name is Carolina, so Carol as well. Aww, I did not know that. I just call you Minty. That's cool. Our name is very similar. Mine is just plain Carol. Very old-fashioned. I'm named after my grandmother, actually, whom I love dearly. I'm named after both of my grandmothers. My middle name is also my other grandmother's name, is Celine. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So here now we have this weird squared off. See, I might fix this a tad just so that I can get the seam on the front to match up with the new seam that we have going up here. So I'm gonna fix that a little bit and kind of taper it out. Oops. Get this tail underneath my foot. Okay, so we're gonna match up. I'm gonna backstitch a little here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It'll match with this. And then from right here, I think, yes, it is. All right, now we have a nice evenly distributed seam, or in theory. All right, so I fixed it a little bit here. Remember what I said, that this side piece has part of the shoulder. So we have the princess seam, but then it goes into the neckline. So when I snipped it here, I wanted to make sure that this was going to match up with this. So I just went kind of back over it to make sure that that was going to be even and matched up. So we still have the shoulders to contend with, but until then, I also want to make sure that this will turn out evenly. And the way we do that, see, it's got this weird squared neckline. So I'm going to snip this right in the corner like this. So now it should fold this way. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to turn it out very nicely. Like this. Okay. Back into this corner too. Like that. So hopefully, with any luck, it should have this nice crisp corner. See how that works? Let's see what's going on. It's so fun. I hope you have fun. If you need any tips, I'm sure Carol can help you. He even asked me. I've been wearing Lolita for many years. So nice. I plan on hanging all my dresses up on Sunday in my closet. I'm a bit divided because I love practical clothes and Lolita. This is the one I have. Oh, neat. I'm going to have to check that out in a minute. That's amazing. I want to be a pro like you. You're so sweet, Ariel. Well, just little tricks like this that you got to remember. It's like this was all trial and error for me when I first started. Oh, that's right. I had to undo this because I wanted to fix that. Well, I guess we better do that. Alright, so I just wanted to make sure that this was going to turn out nicely. I undid this guy because it caught my butterflied seam and folded it. So now I'm going to re-sew this shoulder just a little. Make sure that it's not going to get caught. Okay. Right. Right. And I'll show you the magical thing. I think it's magic. I don't know. Maybe I'm just easily entertained. Turning out through the shoulders. Let's see. They have almost all the photos of what's in the magazine. Oh, the handmade Gothic Lolita fashion Japanese clothing sewing pattern. Okay, now I have to take a look at what this link is. Oh yeah. I am familiar. I don't have it, but I am familiar with this. I've seen it before. So you were thinking of scanning it and sharing it with the group, because that'd be cool. Oh, did we lose people? No. For some reason, this thing decides to tell me that there are no viewers, and yet here you are. I don't understand why it does that. So cool, we did the neckline. Now we just do the shoulders. I mean the shoulders, the armholes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I just want to make sure I match up my shoulder seams on the inside of the armhole. And it should be the same shape, so there's really not much to be done. Just to sew it exactly 1 centimeter away from the edge. It's seam allowance. We'll do both sides and we'll close this up. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, here we go. Choo, 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 choo. Gotta make sure it's flat. Ugh. Come on, buddy. I have to repress this. Goes that way, right? Yeah, okay. This time I'm not using pins. I don't know if you noticed that. Maybe I should have, but... Oh, let's move this over a bit. Okay. 1 armhole done. My Twitch too, Carol, has been having problems. I streamed for 10 hours a few hours ago and the views were not matching up with the stream activity. So weird. Why though? It makes me, like, I try not to get discouraged when there's not anybody. Like when it says 0 on my stream, I'm like, okay, nobody's interested in watching me, so I don't blame them. It's not the most interesting thing in the world. But then, like, then some people start talking, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought there was nobody here. What's going on? I never know how to put a lining on a piece that doesn't have sleeves. Let me show you. That's what we're doing. I love this. I love this because I know that this is kind of like a puzzle, and since I puzzled it out, I want other people to just be able to do this. It's not hard. It's just a matter of figuring it out. So, okay, I'm gonna fix this a little so that it's tucked like here. And even. I feel you, Carol. What about the sides? I will get to this. It's really cool. It's really cool. Trust me. It's so cool. Super cool. Super green. Magic is happening. So here, look, their armhole. Side's not connected. We're just gonna finish this. Then we're gonna turn it out, and it's gonna look cool. It's gonna look so cool. Okay, but we do want it to be right here. Yes, yes, yes. This time I use pins. I try to show off and not use pins, but sometimes, they're helpful. They don't use pins usually in a factory, but I'm not really a factory, even though I know how to do it that way, doesn't mean I should do it that way. Okay, here, just right there, okay. Stay even. I'm almost there, guys. Hold up. I'm almost there. Okay. Choo 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 choo. Did I miss anything? Maybe I've been doing my pieces wrong all along. I mean, I guess, yeah, we'll see. Still can't wrap my mind around how they do not use pins. Yeah, a lot of practice. Like, just years, decades even, of just knowing how to manipulate the fabric. Because really, all it comes down to is being able to use your fingers. All of them. So not just, like, making sure your hands are in the right place, but also to, like, keep the spaces in between the fabric even. So a lot of the time you might sew like this, you know, keeping sure your notches are matching and holding onto that notch as you're sewing, and you're meeting the notch and then you're readjusting with the needle down. There's lots of little tricks that you eventually just start to learn. Anyway, now it's time for the magical part. Okay, here we go. Look at this. So we have facing linings. Here we have the shell. We have right sides together, right? Now, of course, always clip your curves. So we're going to clip this curve. There is something I was taught that you can do, and that is to stagger your clips. So if you don't want points after you turn out a curve, you can stagger your points, or stagger your clips, sorry. So one up here on the top part, or one down here on the bottom part, one up here on the top part. Down at the bottom, one at the top, and it staggers the way that it's snipped. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it does have a nice effect. So sometimes if you're doing one-offs like this, it's worth it. So like one here, bottom, top, bottom, top, a little tighter here on the tight curve, bottom. Okay, so in theory this should be nice. So here we have a very nice curve. Right. So now what? Now what do we do? Well, we have to clip the other side. Oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do staggered so that I can show you guys again. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, come on. Oh, I think I have to wash my face. Bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, a little tighter, bottom, top, bottom. Boop, boop, boop. Magic! Magic is about to happen! Some stuff just needs pins to stay in place. Sometimes. I have seen miracles. Alright, so because these are not attached on the sides, now we can sort of try to turn this out by pulling this guy through here, through this tube. There we go. might take some work. Back, Melon! Melon is back! Hello and welcome back. We're turning this out now. Once you get past the tight part, it really just comes loose on its own. It's a matter of getting it through there. Eee. Ha ha ha! Yeah, see, now it's coming. Okay, there's that. There's one. Do the other one. What if it didn't have an opening on the back? Well, there is always a way to leave one of the seams open, or both of the seams open, so that you can do it that way. You just have to look for little opportunities, because things can always be sewn together afterward. I learned this thing where you don't have to do everything in a certain order of operation just because you were taught that the first time. There's always going to be like some little trick that you can do that's something like what I'm doing now, like leaving the side seams open in this case works for this technique. Turning something inside out, or just sewing partially and then turning it out once it's done and you sew the rest of it. I'd have to show you more demonstrations, but anyway, you get the idea. So now we have turned out back pieces, front pieces, and then this gets put together like this. Do you see? Do you see now? And then once that's together, it's all sewn on the side, and then you have your thing. Right? Right? Isn't that cool? It's satisfying, right? I know. I know. This is what I live for, though. I love showing this stuff. It's like, hey, look, a trick. It's magic. Okay, now I'm gonna take my time. You know, I'm gonna put this aside. I need my mat. Oh, mat that I love so much. I love lining and facings. For me, can be fiddly. Yes, they can be fiddly. But with the right skills and knowledge, you too can conquer your facings and your linings. So when we are pressing, we want to make sure that this inside facing and lining have just a little bit of a roll, so that the front part is kind of rolled over. So I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm not making sure that I'm so sorry. I'm not letting the seam here be completely even like a sandwich. I'm rolling back the facing just like a 1/16, so that this seam is kind of more on the inside against the body. And that gives it a very nice finish. So here, kiss like this. See, and I already pressed open both the seams of the shoulder on the facing and the shell, so that it's nice and flat. There's no like bulking there. Here we go on this side. What do you guys think, huh? I learned flatlining from Bernadette Banner. She's so cool, I have to get better at cleaning up inside. Watching her fell her seams is the best motivation. Thinking about putting a lining on something that doesn't have sleeves, it's a nightmare to me. But it shouldn't. Look how easy it was. It wasn't hard. How long did this take me? Not very long. It's mostly just preparing your facing and your lining. Putting together the fronts, the shells, putting together the facing and lining, and relative pieces to that. Yeah, well, she does a lot of historic sewing. So hand felling the seams and stuff like that, that's definitely something that would have been done. This is more of like the expedient, almost factory method of putting together a garment. That's just how I learned, really. Like my entire education in practicality and otherwise has been to learn how to manufacture pieces, even if they're custom pieces or one-offs. So utilizing the tools, the modern tools that I have, and finding little tricks on using your machine to create a piece like this. It's all what I live for. So here we have the side. It's gonna look so nice, guys. See how these nice corners came out? I'm very excited about this. Treadle OP has you line by making a lining layer and stitching the necklines together, and flip the lining over and baste the armholes and waist together. Well, maybe they don't know any better. Because I wouldn't do it that way. That's crazy talk. Like, do you think a factory would stop everything and hand stitch the armholes closed? Nope. There's always a way. Always, always. So that's usually the question that I ask myself is, how would a factory do this? There's not a lot of hand sewing involved in a factory setup. If ever. I don't hate it, but it's kind of sloppy. Well, that's what I shamefully did for one of my classes, but I didn't hand stitch, just used hemming tape. Oh my gosh! Hemming tape! Girl, please. Okay. I think she's done. So here we go. Now, of course, it's still, this is not the finished pressing. This is just to get these edges crisp. But you get the idea that now that this is turned out and put together, that the only thing left is then to put these together like this and just sew all the way across to close up the side seams. And then you would add your lining skirt and your main skirt separately, of course. If I bought you the pattern, would you make it and show us maybe how the process could be improved? Absolutely. I've been wanting to get my hands on one of those patterns just to break it down and see if I can improve it. Yeah, definitely would be interested in that. I made the OP 4 times. It's okay, my teacher only wanted us to get the design right. She wasn't worried about how well we did the prototypes. That's fair. Sometimes they just want you to do the design portion, not so much the construction. So I can definitely understand that. In fact, in a lot of costume sewing, most of the time we just need to achieve a certain final product with certain functionality, not necessarily a final product that would be on a rack somewhere in a store. So there are rules that can be bent depending on the application of the garment that you're making. For me, I always try to make my work reflect anything produced in a factory setting. So I try to follow certain protocol in the manufacturing process to be as close to what a brand would make. So here we go. We're going to match this to this. Mostly, almost exactly the same. Okay, so with this, I'm going to make sure that one seam is going down, the other seam is going up. When it's flipped over, it's going to be like this. But this way, I get to match the seam a little bit better. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but when I'm matching my side seams here, it's just easier to nest them into each other by having one side going this way and the other side going this way. And that way, the little bump that happens is just going to be like right up against the other one. In theory. So, see, with this lined up as it is, I'm going to put a pin there. Yes, I'm still ashamed of doing it, but it was that or hand stitching to close it, and hell no, right? Like, I'm not hand stitching that, because I didn't know how to finish the freaking corset. Oh, on a corset, it's binding, but that's still sewn on. There's a seam binding that goes on, like a bias tape, double fold. I've done that too. Let's see. When your table is clear, let me know. I'm going to use her jump skirt next after my hiatus. Oh, the tea and treadle jump skirt? You know what? I am down. Like, this project and then even the next one should not take me very long. So if you want to send it to me, I'd love to study it first and then dive into like making the thing. So please keep me up to date on what you would like to do as far as breaking down a tea and treadle project, because I would love to do that. Oh wait. There's one side. Bloop, 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 bloop. Forever using hemming tape. No! Still building my wardrobe. I wear it at home mostly. I've gone out a few times in it. A tea party I hosted and a movie. That's awesome. Do you know, fun fact, that it wasn't called Lolita yet, but in the 70s, particularly the late 70s, there were, I don't know if they're still around, it's called Pink House and Milk. They were some of the first brands that had what you would call Lolita. They started in the 70s. It started as a prairie style because I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the prairie style of dress with flouncy sleeves for prom in the 70s was a huge deal. And this is also true for Japan. And a lot of the time, what they did is they marketed that kind of style to housewives to wear at home. So actually, that is how that whole aesthetic started, was marketing towards housewives to wear house dresses that they could feel pretty in. Bet you didn't know that. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Awesome. Check out how nice and finished that looks. You see that? I'm going to have to open up the seams on the sides so that it reduces the bulk as well. So that's going to butterfly, I'm going to butterfly the seams. But, I mean, you can't beat this. This is, look at this. This is beautiful already. Milk is very cute, yes. That's what I do with my Lolita. That makes me feel way better. Yeah, it all started that way. It kind of evolved, of course, with the Visual K, seam. But for sure, actually, that is what they did. They just wore pretty clothes at home because it made them feel special. But yeah, the Little House on the Prairie, that was huge back then. So the flouncy, you know, Victorian era prairie style was very much in vogue at the time that Milk and Pink House were creating housewife day dresses. And then it eventually evolved into the Visual K scene because they started dressing in like over-the-top Rococo style, and their fans were emulating that when they went to concerts, and then eventually it became a subculture and a fashion. I love Halloween, says Ariel. I want to buy lots of Lolita shoes, but I walk a lot and need sturdy shoes. There are some comfortable options. I've worn many a ballet flat with some Lolita stuff. Maybe some people in the Lolita community look down on such things, but what are you going to do? You don't want to kill your feet. You still want to match. There we go. Awesome sauce. Look at that. That is what I call magic. Ta-da! It's gonna look so nice with this lining inside. That's the top of the dress. Alright, so that is really all I wanted to show you guys. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh, thank you, Minty, for the cheer. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, these pin tucks came out really nice too. Then there's going to be buttons. I haven't decided what the buttons are going to be, but there's going to be buttons. And yeah. I see the photos of one of the Lolitas from my com, and she uses mostly sneakers, and she looks so cute. I like Mary Jane Lolita style shoes. Those groovy brand dresses are nice. Yes, brand dresses can be nice. Sometimes they can be a hot mess. Metamorphose, I'm looking at you. Thank you. And so I'm going to end the stream here now. I just wanted to have this on video so that you guys could see the magic that is turning out a facing and lining like this through the armholes when there's no sleeves. So, talk to me a little bit more later, Melon, about the offer. I would love to go over a tea and treadle pattern because I want to see how they're made, first of all, how they're printed, how they're designed, and how they're put together, and maybe we can go over like how to actually put it together so that it doesn't look like a hot mess. So yeah, that would be super fun. Shoot me a DM for the file. Yes, I will. Thank you. Is it a digital file or is it printed? So I'm just kind of curious. Hugs. Thank you so much for coming, Ariel. I'm so happy to see you here. My goodness. I'll message you on Instagram for an email. Sure thing. Sure thing. All right, guys. So that's all I got for today. And we will see you next time. I'm sure you'll see me on Discord here and there, as I am wont to do. So have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next week.